Running from a ghost town where we never feel high, just low. We won't ever come down. We won't ever come down low. Feeling the sun on my face in Hawaii. With you.
Yep, that's me. You might be wondering, how did you get there? Well, it all began with Genshin Impact's latest character release, Klee. I'm Kong and you're watching the second episode of Did You Know Genshin. Today we'll be touching on a brief history of Klee, alongside some theory crafting, so make sure you watch to the end. As always, there are some minor manga spoilers and in-game spoilers as well. Klee is known for her fiery explosive talents, and I haven't seen a character in video games and anime that loves explosives this much since Data and Naruto, and we know how he ended up. Klee is similar in her recklessness, and due to this, Jean is very strict towards her. Klee is subject to solitary confinement due to her explosions, and the Order Favonius tried to teach her how to act properly. Others have even alluded to a knight in red leveling the Stormbearer Mountains, and according to the Teyvat travel guide, this was likely her mother, Alice. Destructiveness runs in the family, like how smooth talking and good looks runs in mine. When you use her charge attack, Klee uses a clover which she channels her energy through and blasts her enemies. And when you use her elemental burst, she does something similar, except it's not through her clover. Even so, multiple clovers appear to destroy her foes, while one just follows her around. Keep this in mind, there are only two other plants that can use fire in this game, Flaming Flower and the Pyro Regis Vine, which hints that Klee may be particularly close to nature. She's incredibly smart for her age and uses her pyro powers to enchant slimes to make them into explosive pyro slimes. In this way, she's similar to the Hilichurls, which also use fiery explosive slimes to attack their victims. Again, Klee may be imitating nature itself through her skill set. It's unclear how she gained her vision, but it's been explained in Ningguang's story that they just appear out of nowhere one day. In her section about visions, it's also noted that if someone with a vision dies, the visions become powerless husks and have a low chance of reawakening with someone else. Now we're going to move on to her story. Klee's mother, Alice, is a well-known traveler, and she's written tons of books that you can find in-game. Probably due to the nature of her work as part of the Adventurers Guild, Alice left Klee in the hands of the Order Favonius. Like Timmy, we're not aware of who or where Klee's father is, so that's all there is to her lore. Yep, that's it. That's everything. That's the whole video. We've fit the video in around 4 minutes. Let's go. Alright, fine, but seriously, I do have a few theories about where she may come from. First things first, it's clear that Klee is not fully human, as she has pointed elf-like ears. Her name is German for clover, and since Mondstadt is based on Germany, she definitely has partial heritage. As a heads up, I'm going to be diving into a big theory here, so don't curse me with low summon rates because you don't agree. It's hard to pinpoint Klee's origins, although several things stood out to me in my research. The only other character we see with pointed ears in any Genshin media is in the manga. He's an old Fatui diplomat or overseer who wears clothing which is inspired by Indian culture. The Fatui are based in Snezhnaya, the Frost region which is inspired by Russia, and this means that the diplomat migrated from his country. Keep this in mind. In fantasy, elves are highly intelligent and knowledgeable, and they are also close to nature. Klee, as we know, is named after a clover, and vaguely copies nature through her skill set. Now, you might be saying, the link is there, Kong, but it's not enough. So, let's dive deeper. Sumeru is the city of the Dendro region, and it's said that the Dendro Archon is known as the God of Wisdom. In fact, even Lisa studied there. It would make sense for the elven characters to hail from Sumeru, especially since Dendro is the nature element. I left out Klee's passive called All of My Treasures earlier when I was talking about her skills. She allows you to see all of the resources unique to Mondstadt on the minimap. Unless she went out of her way to read every single one of her mother's books about Mondstadt, there would be no easy way for her to know all of this. And even then, Lisa would share this passive, especially since she's the best scholar to exit Sumeru in the past 200 years. I'm going to wrap up this theory with a few panels from the manga. In the manga, we meet a girl named Klee who has a troubled past due to dealing with the Fatui. She was experimented on by the Fatui after her parents handed her to them to be treated for an unfortunate illness, and at some point, she escapes from them, or she's let free. Klee is important because it's detailed on the Genshin wiki that she was mistreated by the people Snezhnaya, although we can see that she hails from Sumeru from the manga panels themselves. And in fact, this is the first and only time that we do see Sumeru. The clothing of the people in the manga panels and the architecture of the buildings only points to one place, Sumeru, as Sumeru is based on India and the Middle East, which therefore means that the Fatui diplomat that I mentioned at the start of this theory is originally from Sumeru. Not all of the characters from Sumeru look like the diplomat, and not all of them have pointed ears either. In future updates, we'll definitely find out more about this region. One thing for certain in Genshin Impact is that people move around. The world's populations are so diverse, which is why the cast doesn't fully consist of humans, but this makes uncovering the lore incredibly awkward. In Teyvat, people are not defined by how they look, or by their faith, or even by their Archon, but instead by their individual and collective beliefs, which is why visions are not exclusive to certain areas. This just about wraps up this video on the newest addition to the Genshin roster, Klee, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to Miso for more Genshin lore. While you're at it, follow us on Twitter to get us to 400 followers, and join the PRIMOGEM giveaway in the description, as there are only 2 days left. You'll also find our website in the description for the anime watchers out there, and our Discord server. Kong out, peace.